Good evening, friends. It's Valerie Ling here coming to you from my garage. I come back from we are in lockdown here in Sydney and it has just been extended for another week and had to go out and get some stuff. We've got kids at home next week, apparently doing school. And do you know what? I don't know about your home, what it's like, but in my house, people eat more and there just seems to be a lot more washing. And we just seem to run out of some really basic things very, very quickly. So I wrote a blog post. I had to get the angle, a blog post about avoiding a certain media conversation, and actually just had, by the way, if you are in media and you are watching this, I would like to say that I will try my hardest in the future to not avoid phone calls and emails to do with talking about anything that you want to talk to me about. It's just been a particularly tough time, yeah, with all the lockdowns and everything. Anyways, so got a follow-up phone call from the wonderful person who, it's amazing how people can just take the words that you say and turn it into something really spectacularly profound and insightful. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity and that experience. And then just sitting here because I've hit that time in my day where I'm meant to start to get to some movement and some exercise and some activity. And I'm just feeling a sense of discouragement. And I thought, this is a perfect opportunity to really just talk to you, one human being to another, and to share with you where this source of discouragement is coming from. If you've ever been through the process of therapy, you will know that it is actually takes quite a lot of energy and effort, and it's not the easiest process to go through. And yet, as you walk through it and as you go through it, the load becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, and from feeling like you're dragging yourself through a really thick liquid to actually feeling like you're walking on much lighter air. Now, because of my burnout prevention philosophy, I am very much about putting all kinds of support structures around somebody, whether it's therapy, coaching, mentoring, um, friendship supports, being authentic, um, being able to bring who you are to these various spaces. And as a Christian, you add to that then the spaces of praying with people and really talking, intimately about how you're feeling. And during this season of lockdown, all of that has been increased. Personally, just because I believe in it, it's like it's one of those things you just turn up the dial. You just go boom, turn it all up, and and it's exhausting. It's really tiring. It's unnerving. You just have to go through a process of really expressing and being accountable and being truthful in those spaces. And one of the spaces that I increased the heat on maybe about 6 weeks ago was to put my entire business under audit, which is for me a pretty brave and bold thing to do. Put the entire business through an audit. I've had someone come through and just look at all the ways that we did and put my leadership um, on the line in terms of being investigated. So I firmly believe that being a leader isn't about having power as much as it is about ensuring that the trust that people have invested in you continues to be warranted and viable. I just want to make sure that as the leader, watching over a group of very important people through a pandemic and all of that, my leadership gets audited. And so, it's been a highly vulnerable space. And yesterday, the consultant met with me online and presented a whole document after journeying with me in the business for 6 weeks. And I just loved the first slide. I think I might have burst out into a giggle. I'm not so sure because it's the first slide basically says now, essentially said, I'm here to tell you the truth. You may not always like what I'm going to say, but don't take it personally. And I thought, this is really interesting for the first slide. This person must get like a lot of pushback, right? So I kind of giggled through that slide and thought, oh, this is refreshing. Bring on the pain, bring it on, tell it to me, give it to me. And as they were presenting it, I actually noticed that I was having some anxiety reactions. My breath got shallow. Look, Teddy's saying hello. Can you see? Oops. I'm not very good with my spatial thing, but there's a little dog looking at me there. He's just found me in the garage wondering, what on earth are you doing? Yes, so, shallow breathing, heart was starting to beat a little bit faster, particularly when we got to the slide which started to talk about my weaknesses and how my really, at the end of the day, the audit really drilled down to where I was a personal threat to my own business. Look, of course I'm going to be a personal threat to my own business. And went on to outline some things. And once the deed was done, once that was presented to me, it wasn't quite as painful as I thought. In fact, I had a good old chuckle because I said, yep, absolutely 100% true. I very often say that if I go to work, I often break things because for a variety of reasons, I'm not always the best in terms of making sure that things don't get broken operationally, because by nature I'm a hacker. I hack things and then I build things, etc., etc., etc. I wanted to come on board here and just say, and so therefore today, well, last night actually, as I got into bed and hubby checked in on me and asked me, how are you? And I said, actually, and this was, I don't know what time it was we went to bed, like not too late, maybe 10:30. This is probably not the best time to have this sort of a conversation, but I think my husband is just really used. If you're going to ask me a question, I will tell you the truth in entirety. I don't necessarily need then the thesis back. I just need to tell you, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. And I said, truthfully intimidated. And it was like, intimidated? I said, yeah, truthfully, I am intimidated because having done this audit, having been through a process of being examined, now I've got to do something about it. And it feels intimidating because it doesn't really, the gap from where I am here to where we need to go is really intimidating. And this is where I wanted to share with you that, because I'm sitting here in my garage procrastinating everything that I need to do, that gap, you can look at it and you can say, wow, Valerie, you've got to do a lot. You've got to do a lot. Can I tell you that in all my years of working in this space, I've realized you've actually have got to be a lot more. You've got to be a lot more. What I mean by this is I could have gone from last night going intimidated, avoid, or, do. And really, truthfully, I probably did that. If members of my team are watching, I apologize, because between the hours of about 9 to 12, I was probably in that reactive mode of going, oh my goodness, you break everything, go in there and make sure that, people know what they're doing. And 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. probably there was a barrage of emails, and what I got back from my team was like, yes, we got it under control. I'm like, okay, all right, pull back. That's the doing bit, like when you're reactive and you just go. Instead, it's really important to be more. To be more just means that when you're passionate, when you're purposeful, and this doesn't have to be a business or a job. You could be really passionate right now as a parent, or you could be really passionate right now as a friend, looking around and seeing, what's going on in your immediate vicinity. People may be going through a hard time, or there are projects around the house that you're trying to do, and you're really convicted. Now, if we're not careful and we're really reactive, we will start to just listen to busy voices that are tired voices that then turns into, statements of failure or doubt or what's the word I'm looking for? Self-condemnation, the real trip up factor, because all we're hearing are tired, busy, exhausted, reactive thoughts. Just looking at Teddy. Teddy's my dog, by the way. And this is why you need to be more than do more. And so, 1 o'clock, I attempted to finish my day, but I forgot a meeting. So I jumped back onto another passionate conversation where someone, was talking to me about revolutionary. Your ideas are revolutionary. I'm like, really? I think they just sound really normal to me. But, again, the whole passion thing got stirred up, and then the whole self-doubt thing is like, oh my gosh, really, is it really that revolutionary? Sounds very ordinary to me. Oh my goodness, this is intimidating. How do I deliver? And then it's like, stop, right? Meeting finish, Zoom end meeting, click. Went downstairs, grabbed husband, grabbed keys, grabbed mask, got in the car, said, circuit breaker, just go and do something that, will give you a sense of achievement. You can buy groceries. You can go to the chemist and pick up, that medication. I can do this. And now, which is the thing that I'm about to go and launch, I actually said to my family, can I please be excused from dinner tonight? We, our one connection point, the one meal that we all have together is dinner, and we often sit around and chat. And I said, can I please be excused from dinner tonight, because I need to go for the longest walk I can achieve before it's not safe. Like before, it's like 9:30 or 10 o'clock and it's really dark where I live. I need to put on some music. I need to walk. I need to clear my head. I need to reflect. I need to just release some of these thoughts. I need to pray. I need to be centered. I need to be grounded. And I do not know how long this will take. I do not know. Today's exercise and movement for me is less about yet another milestone I need to put in terms of, I've got to do this amount of push-ups and, oh my goodness, my core is caving. Oh, whatever. Who cares? I've got to increase the being at the moment. So it could be like that for you too. When you increase the being, you increase being, B-E-I-N-G, not Bing, the search engine, which my daughter tells me is she uses Bing to look for Google. I'm like, why would you do that? Just download the Google Chrome. It's just like, oh, school doesn't allow us to do that. That's odd. Anyways, I digress. The being, B-E-I-N-G, those hectic, tired voices quieten down, and you just breathe. You inhale. You slow down. I walk with a smile as well. It helps because I listen to music that I really, really, really like, and so I'm like most of the time. Look a bit weird because I'll be air drumming as I'm playing air keyboard as I walk, and I just smile. And some of those thoughts, they just settle down, and soon you can speak words of encouragement back to yourself, right? You've done this before. Yes, it's hard. However, there's people to help you. One of the things that you've learned about yourself is that you do know how to say, I don't know. There's always an opportunity to go back to the team and say, I'm sorry I broke all the systems, or I'm sorry that I came across that way. There's always an opportunity to repair. You're able to say, I'm not perfect. It doesn't matter if, we said the wrong thing yesterday. Tomorrow is an opportunity to actually repair that. Those voices and those thoughts just settle in. And so the more passionate, the more convicted you are about something, the more, the more challenging you finding yourself going, space that you're going into. Do less, be more. Be more. Okay. So on that note, because the longer I sit here, the later it is getting, and it defeats the purpose of me being excused for dinner because they're probably going to start eating right now. It's time for me to go. Take care.